Good morning. I'm Reb Myron. I've been a minister through Pathways of Light for 40 years. I'm doing the lessons this year with Jesus, asking him to clarify them for me. And then I'm writing from that clarity. So that's what I'm sharing with you. So let's get started. We're on lesson 108. To give and to receive are one in truth. This is an idea that Jesus talks about a lot in the course to help us understand that giving is receiving. So paragraph 1, vision depends upon today's idea. The light is in it, for it reconciles all seeming opposites. And what is light except the resolution, born of peace, of all your conflicts and mistaken thoughts into one concept, which is wholly true. I really like that sentence. Where we are reconciling seeming opposites. And says, and what is light except the resolution born of peace? So in order to reconcile these ideas, we're going to have to be at peace. And we become peaceful as we let go of the ideas that conflict with peace. So it's a resolution born of peace of all your conflicts and mistaken thoughts into one concept that is wholly true. Okay, so it says even that one will disappear because the thought behind it will appear instead to take its place. You see, the thought is already there. And so what we have to do is let go of the thoughts that are not true. And then the true thought will simply be there. And now you're at peace forever, for the dream is over then. So perhaps we will not experience this fully while we're still here, but we will prepare by clearing the mind. And believe me, any clearing you do is going to make you happier and more peaceful. Of that, I can attest. Okay, so paragraph 2, true light that makes true vision possible is not the light the body's eyes behold. It's a state of mind that has become so unified that darkness cannot be perceived at all. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? No darkness at all, no dark thoughts. And thus what is the same is seen as one, while what is not the same remains unnoticed, or it's not there. And of course, it's not there because when the mind is completely healed, there is no illusion. Okay, so our purpose here is to undo the idea of separation and see ourselves as one. Today's idea that to give and receive are one, if accepted, does this for us. It reconciles all opposites and fills the mind with light so that we can at last truly see. Now we are filled with conflicting ideas in this world, and even we understand they cannot all be true. This is a terrible way to live, never feeling certain. The feeling of uncertainty is probably why we fight to be right. We do this even as the insistence on being right rather than happy is causing so much suffering. We long for stability, for trust, and to feel safe. But because we're all one, we can't have this until we all have it. We need one concept that is wholly true. The light in our mind that unifies makes true vision possible. This isn't anything we see with the body's eyes, because the body is just part of the illusion. It is the light of the oneness that shows us what is true. Jesus describes it here as a state of mind that has become so unified that darkness cannot be perceived at all. Can you imagine this? What would it be like to have no dark thoughts at all? I would never again have the thought that something is wrong, that I've been attacked, that I need to defend myself. Never again would I be afraid for myself or my children or anyone else in the world. I would not worry about what happens in the illusion, what happens to bodies or to an imagined world. There would be absolute, unending peace, and I would always be happy. I would certainly never feel lonely again, knowing that I am never alone, but am always and forever part of the whole. What a thought. Paragraph 3. This is a light that shows no opposites, and vision being healed has power to heal. This is the light that brings your peace of mind to other minds, to share it and be glad that they are one with you and with themselves. This is a light that heals because it brings single perception based upon one frame of reference from which one meaning comes. In that sentence, this is a light that brings peace of mind to other minds, to share it and be glad they are one with you and with themselves. This is a light that heals. And I want this for everyone, because being one, I can't have it unless everyone has it. So that's why I don't hold grievances. It's why if I judge, I catch myself and let it go, because I don't want that other person to be guilty. If they're guilty, well, then guilt is in my mind as well. So I want only the best for everyone. Not to say I never have a judgmental thought, but I never have one I keep. So all of the dark thoughts in our mind are a reflection of the one thought that we're separate from each other and from our Creator. Vision shows us that this is not true. It reveals our oneness. With this vision, our minds are healed and we can heal. We share this vision with other minds. That's how we heal. And they share it with still more minds. This is how we awaken the sonship from this long dream of separation. Each of us is enlightened as we share the vision of oneness. I don't know how this occurs for others, but for me, it was a slow, step-by-step process as I looked with the Holy Spirit on much of the darkness in my mind. As I was able, I released what I found there to Him and accepted His healing. At some point, I realized I had reached a state of fundamental well-being that did not depend on circumstances to uphold it. It's not complete, not in the way Jesus describes here, but my mind continues to heal and at a faster rate now. Here's an example from my life. This happened last year, but it's a very helpful example, so I'm sharing it again. One day, my daughter was told by her doctor that there were signs that there was a problem with her heart, that she may have had a heart attack. She had to undergo a battery of tests over a 2-day period. I was worried about this situation, but at the same time, I wasn't. It was very strange the way it works. I was aware of intermittent fear thoughts in my mind, but I know that if this had happened before I shifted, it would have been 2 really awful days. I would have been unable to function on a normal level, and I would have cried and insisted on being with her throughout the ordeal. I would have called everyone I knew to talk about it. But that's not what happened. I didn't try to be fearless. Instead, I kept watching my mind for fear thoughts. When they showed up, I asked the Holy Spirit to correct them and to show me another way to see the situation. I let Him guide me through the days, showing me how to maintain my peace. When my mind would go to what if thoughts, I would be guided back to the present moment. So I was guided to the perfect passages in the Course to remind me of the truth. I was also reminded that our minds are one, and so I shared thoughts with my daughter that were true and helpful, not in words so much, but in a more powerful way of mind to mind. Here are a couple of the quotes that he led me to. One said, "You can give up the god of sickness for your brothers. In fact, you would have to do so if you give him up for yourself. For if you see the god of sickness anywhere, you have accepted him." Another said, "To believe that a son of God can be sick is to believe that part of God can suffer. And what comforter can there be for the sick children of God except his power through you? Remember that it does not matter where in the sonship he is accepted. He is always accepted for all. And when your mind receives him, the remembrance of him awakens throughout the sonship. Heal your brothers simply by accepting God for them. Your minds are not separate, and God has only one channel for healing because he has but one son. God's remaining communication link with all his children joins them together and them to him. To be aware of this is to heal them, because it is the awareness that no one is separate and so no one is sick. Another one says, God would have them released from their sickness and return to his mind. He will not limit your power to help them because he has given it to you. Be not afraid of it, because it is your salvation. And miracles enable you to heal the sick and raise the dead, because you made sickness and death yourself and can therefore abolish both. And the power of one mind can shine into another, because all the lamps of God were lit by the same spark. I remembered that our minds are one. And so I kept my mind on what she needed in her mind. Isn't that a good idea whenever someone you love is in trouble in any way? So paragraph 4, here are both giving and receiving seen as different aspects of one thought, capital T thought, whose truth does not depend on which is seen first, nor which appears to be in second place. Here it is understood that both occur together, that the thought remain complete. And in this understanding is a base on which all opposites are reconciled, because they are perceived from the same frame of reference which unifies his thought, capital T. And this is what was happening in this particular situation. Continually, I turned to the Holy Spirit to heal my mind, so that what I gave was what would be helpful. I gave thoughts of healing, and I received thoughts of healing. I received thoughts of healing, and I gave thoughts of healing. It's simultaneous and cannot be separated. To spend my day in worry and fear would have been to give my daughter and the rest of the sonship worry and fear, and thus to have simultaneously increased worry and fear in me. It would also have reinforced in all minds the belief we're separate from each other and from our Creator. Paragraph 5, one thought completely unified will serve to unify all thought. This is the same as saying one correction will suffice for all correction, or that to forgive one brother wholly is enough to bring salvation to all minds. But these are but some special cases of one law which holds for every kind of learning, if it be directed by the one who knows the truth. Each time many of us turn to the Holy Spirit to correct a thought, and his correction is fully accepted, that correction touches all minds. One brother wholly forgiven brings forgiveness to all minds. This is true for all learning if the learning is directed by the Holy Spirit. In paragraph 6, to learn that giving and receiving are the same has special usefulness, because it can be tried so easily and seen as true. And when the special case is proved, it always works. In every circumstance where it is tried, the thought behind it can be generalized to other areas of doubt and double vision. And from there, it will extend and finally arrive at the one thought which underlies them all. The situation with my daughter might seem an isolated thing, but it proves the idea that giving and receiving are the same. It turns out she was just fine, by the way. I've had many such experiences in the last few years, and especially so in the last 2. I have, in many ways, generalized what I've learned. I tend to see with single vision now, with only occasional bouts of double vision where I see the truth and then the illusion and back to the truth. I know this bouncing around will end as I continue my vigilance and continue to trust and follow guidance. I thank you so much for sharing this lesson with me today and for watching my video. And if you found this helpful, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with another lesson.